In this video, we'll talk about Google Forms. Google Forms are a way to collect data through a form, not surprisingly. Like any online form, whether it's mobile or web, it's just a form with fields that you fill in that then puts the data into a database. In this case, we'll put it into a Google Sheet. As with all of these videos, we'll give you the high-level understanding and show you how it works. And then when you're ready to do it, you'll have the confidence and the ability to go and figure out every step you need to figure out. This is an image of a Google form. You can follow along as usual in our course outline in the Google Forms section. So let's start by creating a form. The first step that you should do is go to the Google Drive folder where you want to put the form and the results. So in mine, you can see it's opening right now. I'm in my sample files forms folder. So you should navigate to that now. You can pause the video if you need to. When you're ready, there are a few ways to create a new file, and you've seen this in other videos and you'll see it in more videos. You can always click new, and then you can create whatever new thing you want to create. You can double click or two-finger click or command click, control click here, and do Google Forms. Or the quick shortcut is Shift O to create a Google form. So I'm creating it, and here it is. What you're going to realize with a lot of the Google tools is they're really intuitive. They're really easy, and they're really powerful. So this is it. What you should do as you do this is open preview, to see this preview, and you'll see with all the little buttons, they all have messages when you mouse over them, so that can help you know what the buttons are. Preview opens the form so that when you're building your form, you can see what your end user will see. So it's a really nice way to try things and to just see the final result quickly as you go. So as you go, you should just be playing around and testing. Click on things, read things, click on little dot menus. Learn. This is a great way to learn, is just to play around. Also a great way to learn is when you're ready to do something, when you want to know, can I insert an image? Can I make a question required? Whatever it happens to be, Google it. Search the internet. Often there'll be a lot of answers to the questions you're looking for, and it's a really good way, number one, to learn, number two, just to get things done. What you'll realize is, as we've talked about in the introduction video, this is about a mindset. This is about learning how to do things. It's not about memorizing every single feature or how to do everything. It's about having the confidence and ability to solve the problem when it comes up. So let's start with the design part. So as you saw, this is the customized theme. The theme is the design part. So you can choose images in different colors. So let's grab an image. You can see what Google gives you, lots of different options. You can upload your own and pull from your own photos. So let's say that we want to grab this one. And there we go. We've got our image loading right there. And then we can change our theme colors. We can change background colors, all sorts of stuff. We can change our fonts. So it's pretty cool and pretty simple to use. So let's then jump into some of the structure of it. So here you have your name of the file, not the name of the form. The name of the form will go here that the public, the end user, will see. The name of the file goes here. So this is the internal title of form. So that's in your drive. When you go here, you'll see it changes. That's where that goes. So Google will default to that here too, but you may want to change it for different purposes. You may want to have a name for searching your drive or seeing in your drive there. And here you may want to say, and you'll call it whatever you want to call it, but for now, we'll just call it the external public name of form. And so that one, you'll see when you go here, and when we refresh it, you'll see that's the name of the form here. And you'll see you change the colors, you inserted the image, all really cool. You can add a detailed description here of the form if you want to add that with instructions or instructions or whatever you want to put there. Enter whatever you want to do. And of course, that will also then show up here when you refresh it. You can then put in different breaks in the form. So you can put in section breaks, which are, it's really a page break in the form so that when someone's filling out a section to go to the next section, they'll have to click something. You can also just add titles and descriptions inside the form. Here's a title. So again, these are the kind of things you should play with when you know what you want. And you can even design a form by hand first with paper or with a whiteboard. And then when you're ready, you can then add whatever you want to add here, but sections, titles, there's lots of ways to do it. You can add, obviously, questions, which we'll get to in a minute. You can import questions from other forms. You can add titles and descriptions. You can add images inline and videos. So it's a really powerful tool to do a lot of these things. So let's say we're ready to add some questions. So obviously there's one default question here. You can add as many as you want to. Here's our first one. So these are the different kind of questions you can answer. You can insert short answers, paragraphs, multiple choice where your user has to choose one from a list. Checkboxes, where your user can choose more than one. You can add lots of different options. Drop-downs, which is actually like this, where you choose from a drop-down menu. You can file upload, lots of things, date, time. So it's a really powerful tool, and you should play with these. You should play with these to figure out exactly what you're looking for and see how it works and test it out. And then you can look at some of the other things you can do in each question. So let's say we had a short answer here. There's our short answer text. You can add images inside the question. You can add them between, but also inside the question. You can duplicate this question. You can delete the question. You can make a question required or not. And you can even add a description if with the question you wanted to have a question description with more instructions or more guidelines, whatever you need. And you can even add validation. So if the answer is supposed to be a number, you can have a number greater than something else. You can have text that has to contain something with an error message. You can have a length requirement. Regular expressions, we'll actually probably get into this course later. Those are a way to match patterns. So you can say every question has to have the answer, the word hat has to be in the answer, you can use that. Or the number, it has to have a number then a letter, you can use that too. So a little more advanced, we'll get into that soon. So as you can see, really, really straightforward to grab whatever kind of question you want and throw it in there. So now you can do some pretty cool stuff. So for multiple choice, let's go to multiple choice. One thing you can do in multiple choice questions is you can go to a section based on an answer and you can shuffle the option order. So in some cases you may want the answers to be shuffled because you don't want to bias people. There's obviously different studies that show answer number 1 gets chosen more than answer number 4 or the other way around, depends on the study you see. But it's a way to shuffle to try to remove and create some randomness in your answers if you're doing a survey like that. You can also have go to section based on answer. So depending on the answer someone puts in, you can then have them go to a certain section. So that's another way to use sections. So there's a lot of really cool features. So whatever you want to do, when you know what you want to do, that's when you Google and start figuring it out. You're never going to figure out every single different feature. There's just too many possibilities with all the Google tools. They're all really possible or really powerful. So just keep in mind that you can do a lot of stuff that may not seem so obvious if you just do a little bit of research or ask me questions or ask someone else questions. Let's jump into settings for a second. So you can collect emails, which would just make one question be, give me your email, and it will require it. You can send response receipts. You can limit to one response per person. You can let respondents edit after they submit or see the summary responses. You can make some presentation different features with a confirmation message or showing a progress bar. So this is how the form is presented to your user. You can turn it into quizzes, really powerful, cool stuff. So then when you're ready to send it, you can either just send by email where you'll put in people's emails here. You can grab the link, either a long one or shorten it if you want a shorter version. Or you can embed this into another page. You can also post it on social media. So you're ready to send, you're good to go, really straightforward and simple. Here's the responses section. So when you're ready for responses, you'll see you can get an email notification for each new response. You can select where the responses goes. If you already have a place you want it to go, you can download the responses as CSV. If you want to make this into a Google Sheet response, you just click on that little spreadsheet button right there. It'll open up a window where you can create the new spreadsheet, and you create it. And then what you'll see right here, so you'll see it opens up the results. Every answer will have a timestamp of when they filled it out. These will be the question titles. We didn't fill those out, but those will be the question titles. And if you go to your folder, you'll see that you have your form and now you have your responses. And you can see if you wanted to, so let's say we just want to change one of these to question 1, just as an example. You'll see it'll change here. There it goes. And if we refresh here, we have our section. So now this shows the difference in sections. So if I click next, I'll go to the next section. There's my question 1 and some of the other examples we had made. And then as you fill it out, you'll see the answers go here. So you'll see responses appear here, and you'll see the responses appear here. At that point, this will just be a list of responses. You can add new sheets here and treat this just like a Google Sheet. You probably don't want to touch this sheet because this is where the responses will go and you don't want to mess with that. But then you can edit the data here or make copies of the sheet or do lots of stuff. Anything, again, you would do with the Google Sheet. So that's really it. You'll see, again, play around with it, check all the different features. There's lots of cool stuff in here. Check the different menus. When you're ready to do something, Google it. You can add collaborators. You can get a pre-filled link, which is pretty cool. If you fill out this form now, and then you click Get Link. That link that it copies will have a pre-filled version. So if you then send that link to someone else, it'll have answers in some of the questions already, the ones that you answer. So it may be another tool you want to use, and just another example of how powerful this stuff is, and that when you need it, that's when you should figure out what you want to do. So you don't need to become an expert in Google Forms right now, but when you're ready to do it, have the confidence and realize that you can figure it out as you go. Thanks.